elections are held, the Prime Minister and the government would be completely depoliticized. They would just be there to make sure that the country keeps running until new elections are held, and no votes of no confidence would be allowed during that time so that they don't add chaos on top of chaos. It's a very unlikely situation, but it's not impossible either.
All right, Mark Perelman, let's bring you in at this point then, our French politics editor. Mark, look, as we've said, turnout extremely high for a first round, and that is likely to affect alliances now and political strategy going into the second round. There may be plenty of seats, far more than there usually are in French parliamentary elections, where rather than there just being two candidates in the second round, actually there's three. Explain to us a bit about that and perhaps what kind of movements you'll be looking for after 8 o'clock.
Well, obviously, the key will be, first of all, tonight, but what happens between tonight and next Sunday, because the ground will certainly shake a lot, because we've never been in this situation before. New alliances, a new political scene, and there'll be a lot of negotiations between parties, between candidates, because you have 577 different races, essentially, and each one is different. So we'll have a different result. Basically, yes, if you have higher turnout, it means you have more normally three-way contests. How do you get to a three-way contest? You have to get 12.5% of registered voters. If there's a high turnout, well, mathematically, it means you'll have more of those contests. Will those who arrive third remain in the race or not? This will be the key, because the first estimate we'll have will be percentages. Yes, percentages are important, but at the last election, the Macron camp and the left camp had 25% each, but one came up with way more members in the National Assembly than the other one. So this is really going to be a difficult election to figure out tonight. We'll only know, of course, next Sunday, but what happens in between will be absolutely key.
Tell me something, Mark, both for you and for you, Léa. You probably both, between you, covered more legislative and French elections than President Macron's had steak dinners. Now, first, Mark, give me the idea of the mood in the Macron camp in the past 3 weeks.
The Macron camp is depressed, annoyed. I even heard a tougher word against the president because they don't understand why he took that decision, why he betrayed them. Let's use the words I've heard, because the members of parliament, first of all, they were not told they're losing their jobs. Okay, nobody's going to cry for them. But nevertheless, he didn't tell anyone. He didn't tell his prime minister only a few minutes before. Yes, as was explained, there was a small circle of advisors who said, oh, maybe this could be a good idea. This could be a gesture everyone will remember, calling for midterm elections. That's what essentially we have tonight, is unheard of. But the Macron camp, they're afraid, because Emmanuel Macron thought, okay, I'm going to be the center, pull people from the right, from the left, and the extremes will go away. Well, he could end up being sandwiched between a strong far right, and there's no other way to see it after what they got in the European election, and an unexpectedly strong left, which was able to pull off an alliance despite bickering, fighting for weeks and months and so on in a matter of 3 days. So his calculations seem to be pretty risky and doesn't make people happy within his own camp.
Léa.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised, because Macron, he's the kind of person that has the habit of deciding on his own. I mean, it's not surprising at all so far. And it doesn't have much of the compromising culture, which he needed through these 2 years, because he had to do alliances with other parties at the National Assembly. And it did seem a bit complicated. It was not a total chaos. It was not an institutional chaos. I mean, he managed to pass his main bills, like, I mean, the pension bill was like